All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, let's talk about Fred Amata. Today we're talking about Fred Amata and this dramatic story over the past few days. Um, I feel like we're going to learn a lot today. Okay, we're going to definitely learn a lot about family, about culture. We're going to learn about We're going to learn so much today, but there's been a massive social media buzzing of this story of our Fred Amata, the legendary Nollywood actor, director. I think he might actually still be the president of the Director Guild of Nigeria. He has come out to make some shocking claims against his ex-wife, Agatha, one of his ex-wives, as a matter of fact, accusing her of major betrayal when it comes to their daughter's Stephanie's wedding that happened, I guess, over the past recently. So what's really going on behind the scenes? Let's break it all down. Let's break it down. Okay. We're gonna dive in. I'm gonna dive in through some facts here. So pay attention. Okay. I'll be right back.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we are here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve.
Always been asked to me in all my life. Actually, the first thing I did in my life was acting because my father was actually a filmmaker. In 1957, 50. Was acting because my father was actually a filmmaker. In 1957, 57. My father did a film that traveled all over the world, and I happened to grow up watching that film. My father was a theater artist also, so he also had stage plays that he took around the world, and I happened to, at about 8 years old, performing one of those. Then I studied theater arts at the University of Jos. Then I graduated, I majored in directing, and started by 86, 87. I was doing youth service by 87. I was on national television as an actor. So everybody thought I was an actor, but by 88, I was already directing Ripples. Yeah. So I was already a director before Nollywood was born in 93. And so if you want to talk about the true originals, you will call my name. Yes. Because I was one of the few directors, in fact, one of the first, if not the very first director who was not tied to NTA then, because you had to be tied to NTA to be able to do anything in directing, but I was completely independent. And after...
All right, so that's Fred Amata that was talking right there. So let's get into it. By the way, pardon my manners. Shout out to everybody in the chat. My name is Ola. Shout out to everybody watching right now. My name is Ola. As usual, I'm the host of Man of Prestige and the Prestige family. And basically what we do here, we explore life and relationship lessons from trendy topics, tackling them through the lens of self-awareness, power dynamics, social skills, seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence, and if time permits us, we'll get to some marriage lessons, but usually it's not necessary if you're paying attention to everything else. Okay, so now my wife and I Lola, we're life and relationship and marriage coaches, and as well as the creator of Prestige Academy. We've authored 2 books. These 2 books right here, Get My Marriage Back and The Number One Red Flag. And you can download the free audio versions of the books at manofprestige.com. You can always see that information scrolling through the screens. Now, let's get caught up in some backstories here, right? Uncle Fred Amata. Now, I might be butchering the name, but I'm just going to say Amata. Fred Amata. Let me just say that. So Uncle Fred Amata, 8 years old. He was 8 years old when he got his first acting role on his father's stage, as a matter of fact, around 1969, 1970, thereabouts. His father was the legendary, I think it's called Ifogale, but most people call it John AMATA, right? That's the legendary John AMATA, right? And he was involved in what they call the moral rearmament back in the 50s, and he helped write the script for a film back then called The Freedom. This was back in, as he mentioned earlier, this was back in 56 and 57. It is believed to be the first ever full-length featured film out of Africa, not just Nigeria, out of Africa. And Mr. John AMATA was actually a larger-than-life character, and that family came from Delta State, so their family is well known, and they've been known for a long time in the Nigerian Nollywood movie industry. Again, we're talking about Fred AMATA. I just wanted to give you guys some backstories so far. Now, Fred's father, John, was also the first president of the student union of the old University College in Ibadan. I think today they call it University of Ibadan, the UI. Many of you know what that is. So back in days, it was called University College in Ibadan. Though he dropped out to pursue the film that I mentioned earlier, which is called The Freedom. He also staged in many places all over Nigeria. He returned to school to try to continue the program he was studying. I think it was called Classics. Yes, Classics is here. Classic. He was studying a program in Classics at the school. However, they couldn't find the records. So again, this was in the 50s. So imagine going back to a school and they say, hey, we can't see all the credits that you did before. But that's what happened to him. So he re-enrolled, but that time around, he ended up in the same class with his firstborn son. His name is Zach AMATA. So this is a sibling actually to Fred AMATA. Okay. So that family actually, so when you're talking about filmmaking in Nigeria, Nollywood, this is a veteran family, legendary. So it's not just Fred AMATA that I've mentioned earlier on. We're also talking about his brother Zach AMATA and his nephew Jetta AMATA. Are you paying attention? All right. So now, Fred AMATA, a Nollywood icon, of course, like I've mentioned earlier, and AGATHA AMATA, known for her long-running talk show. It's called The Inside Out. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Inside Out show with the Inside Out with AGATHA. So not Amakao, AGATHA. Okay, that's her name. We're going to talk a little bit more about that as well. So they were married. They were actually married all the way till 2005. Okay, they were married all the way to 2005. And they have 2 children together. Not children, but children. So they have 2 children together. One of them being Stephanie, that we're going to be talking about today. But their marriage, of course, like I've said, did not last. By 2005, they were officially divorced. Unfortunately, by 2005, they were divorced. Now, despite their separation, a lot of people thought they were going to come back, because they were trying to show off amicable and all those kind of things. People thought they were going to come back together. At least so it seemed, until suddenly 3 years later, 3 years later, after their divorce, Fred welcomed a new baby with another person, another legendary person, as a matter of fact, Ibinabo. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I'm not going to try. Should I try? Fiberesima, something like that. Ibinabo. Let's just say that, okay? So, but first, let's just get back to Fred and AGATHA first. Let's get back to that one, right? So AGATHA is also a big name in Nigerian entertainment, I guess Nigerian TV. In fact, presently, she's still the CEO of Rave TV and Trend FM Radio. All right. So Uncle Fred and Ibinabo, apparently, according to rumors, they had been playing around, doing all kind of stuff, that obviously resulted in a baby in 2008. So Ibinabo was a beauty queen. She was also, I think they called her the Miss Wonderland. But we shall know, she was a model and a Nollywood actress, So according to an actual rumor report as far back as August 2007 on a website called modernghana.com. So remember she had a baby in 2007, right? So before that, there were actually rumors that she was pregnant for him. But these things are always rumor until they become true. So let me read the article. The article from August 2007 actually says things started falling apart when Fred accused renowned Nollywood producer Kingsley Okoro of having an affair with his wife. Okay, that name is going to come up again later on. That's Kingsley Okoro name. It's actually going to come up later. This guy, this guy. But let's keep going. The Ogoros and the Amatas, who hail from the same tribe, I'm quoting now, who hail from the same tribe, had been family friends for years. Ogoro denied the allegations, and his wife, Esse, a musician based in Ireland, defended Agatha, stating she could not see any reason why Agatha, a family friend, couldn't visit when she had problems. Okay, anyway, there were rumors that this guy was accusing a friend, a colleague, of sleeping with his wife. So just have that at the back of your mind as we get to the story. Okay, anyway, the marriage between them obviously ended in 2005. Who knows why? So I haven't really seen a really clear reason why it ended, but it ended in 2005. All right, so now reacting to the situation, I think Agatha also, she denied, she denied, but also she didn't believe initially that Fred was with this lady right here, Ibinabo. She didn't believe, at least she didn't believe they were going to get married. Okay, so she said, and I quote, she was still married to him. So they were still married legally on paper for a while, even though he had possibly welcomed a baby girl at that time. Anyway, the same publication also made some allegations that he was not happy with Ibinabo at the time because he didn't want the baby. Right? He didn't want the baby was born in 2008, by the way. He didn't want the baby. He didn't want her to keep the pregnancy. So maybe they were actually trying to make things work. Maybe they were trying to come back together. And there were many, many rumors, as I saw when I was doing the research, many, many rumors that they were going to come back together and things like that for years. For years. All right. So now with that being said, I'm going to play a video. I want to play a video right about now. Okay. I'm going to play a video. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. Let me play. Hold on. I'm back. Told you. I was going to get right back. Anyway, so I have to play a video real quick. Hit the like button as you're coming in, by the way. Hit the like button. Where's my video? Okay, there you go. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me see here. All right, here we go. Let's listen in.
Tell me that they pray that Fred and I will get back together. I meet the people every day. I know that everybody wishes you well.
Right.
But I always say to people, you can't wish me better than I wish myself. It's not possible. So if on my wedding day, as I was dancing and rejoicing, I certainly had no plans to leave the marriage.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody who on their wedding day is calculating the divorce day, except the person is crazy. But life happens. And it is better.
I don't want to
It is
hear that.
better,
Life happens
especially
as
for
well.
women. And I
That's
say
how you're
this,
leaving me.
that you realize when
That's that feel like I don't want to hear that. Life happens as how. You committed. What do you mean life happens? You committed to a marriage. You better stay here for life. What do you mean life happens?
it is no longer adding and it starts subtracting from you. It is very important. Because you can get to a place. I say this because the first thing I had a lot of people saying was your children, for the sake of your children, for the sake of your children. And let me say clearly, an unhappy home can never breed happy children.
All right. She has some very, very good points right there. Very, very, very good points. But anyway, shall we? Let's continue. So anyway, they divorced. Obviously, they haven't been back together since 2005. At least not that we know from the public, right? But let's get back to Ibinabo a little bit. Ibinabo, there were also many rumors over the years that, because I think he actually married, according to the reports, he actually married Ibinabo at some point because they welcomed a baby girl and all that. A child that was born in 2008 is now 16. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so there were also rumors that they would get back together, but I think it was just an industry delight. I think everybody just kind of liked him. A lot of people also claim that it was their crush when they were growing up. So go figure. So, but how did we get here today, though? Why are we talking about this guy today? This is just a little bit of backstory to Uncle Fred Amata, right? How did we get here today? Fred and the ex-wife, and I'm not talking about Binabo, I'm talking about AGATHA. They had actually managed to keep things quite low-key over the years, and but ultimately she became a single mother, so single motherhood is not easy. They asked her a question here, and I want to play this video. They asked her a very important question, because the reality is that single motherhood, unless it becomes a matter of survival, it's not to be advised. We're not going to advise people to just be doing the single motherhood anywho, because things got a little tough. We always say, hey, that's the last resort. If it becomes a matter of survival, then obviously we can't judge a person. Okay, but listen to this question. This Chudi, shout out to Chudi. I'm picking up Chudi's content here within the fair use guidelines. But listen to this question that Chudi asked, and then we'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was single motherhood? How was single parenthood?
That's why I didn't have any friends.
Yes.
That's why I literally stopped everything and focused on my children. If you look around, even in my office, their bed was there. Everything about my life became about my children, because I realized that there was something missing, and even though I can't make up for it in full, I will do the best I can.
She realized that there was something missing. At least, listen, nobody's life is perfect, but self-awareness is key in whatever we do, right? Self-awareness is key in whatever we do. We always have to stay aware of our own personal emotions. That's the first step anyway to emotional intelligence. A lot of people are trying to practice emotional intelligence, but they are terrible at mastering their own emotion or their own circumstance. At least she's aware that something is missing. When you are aware that something is missing, then it makes it a little bit easier to mitigate the risk of missing that stuff. But a lot of people are in denial. They say nothing is missing. It doesn't matter. Okay, if it's working for you, keep doing it. But let's keep going.
So if it meant not going out, not keeping friends, not having late nights, they come back to my office, I drop them in school. I was a part of their life every day. Even when I sent them.
Anyway, she did end up raising two grown adults now. Obviously, one is getting married. That's why we're talking about this today. But in the midst of all of the crazy news that's going on right now, which is about him not present at his wedding, him not being allowed or being, given the information so he can actually walk his child, his daughter, down the aisle. In the midst of all of this, people are questioning what kind of relationship did he actually have with his children. I'm asking the same question, right? What was the relationship exactly with the children? This was a post by Fred AMATA himself from December 20 something, December 26, around the Christmas time, of him posting, and this is a caption. The caption says, "Christmas came early. My son, his wife, and my granddaughter. Best Christmas gift ever. Now you can call me granddad," right? So obviously this doesn't equate to relationship, but it shows at least somebody making an effort, right? Let me follow Uncle Fred. It shows at least somebody making an effort, but again, what is the nature of the relationship that he has with his kids overall over the years? That's a question that we're going to keep asking here, because it's going to be a big part of the lesson that we need to learn from this story today. Okay, so please pay attention to that. Let's get back to Uncle Fred and AGATHA, AMATA. But the drama really ramped up. Of course, in recent times, the drama really ramped up, and Stephanie, their daughter, together, she got married. And unfortunately, Uncle Fred was notably absent at the wedding in London. And I'm not going front. That's a big deal. As a Yoruba man, I'll tell you right now, that is a big deal. That's not ideal. Okay, sometimes it becomes people's reality. Obviously, it became Uncle Fred's reality, but that has got to be painful, especially if he really wants to be there. Okay, so unfortunately, the ex-wife, AGATHA herself, she literally walked them down the aisle. I know in your mind you're like, and so some of you might be like, what's the big deal? She walked her down the aisle. Look at her, right? So now obviously Uncle Fred is not having it. When we say let's have it, no, he's like, nope, wrong. Something terribly has gone wrong. It's a taboo. This is a taboo. This is an abomination. So I have a question for you. Do you think, in your own opinion, do you think this is a taboo? Do you agree this is a taboo? This is an abomination? Do you agree? Now, I don't know about you, but let me just tell you, in African tradition especially, this is a big deal. It is expected that the father will be giving the bride away. Now, in my personal opinion, I think the father should give the bride away. If the father is not available for whatever reason, some kind of uncle, somebody, a man. Why? Because of our social construct. Okay? Emotions no be your mate. Okay? Now, obviously, society is not your mate either. Culture, tradition is not your mate. If you want to kick against it, you better know what you are doing. It's okay. Do you? But I'm just saying, you better know what you are doing. You better know what you're doing. I hope you know what you're doing. I hope you know what you're doing if you're doing something like that. Now, I understand circumstances. Some people's fathers might have actually passed away, right? But even in that case, there are ways of life that we do things, and when you respect it, because when we say that these are ways of life, that means other people expect it. And unfortunately, you have to, unless you live in a cave by yourself, you have to live in a society with everybody else. So just know what you're doing, that's all. But anyway, Uncle Fred, that's how they say in Yoruba. Basically, he was pissed off. He went on the internet. He went straight to the internet. It's like, I'm not having it. He got very angry. He went to the internet. Only God knows what was going through his mind. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Let's keep going. Anyway, this is what he said on social media. He said, abomination, embrace taboo, stare Africa in the eyes. Is he writing poem or something? Anyway, to manipulate my daughter and her husband, hoodwink the lovebirds, and walk my daughter down the aisle to give Stephanie away to her husband. I can't keep quiet anymore. It's time to speak up. This is an abomination. This is an abomination. This is taboo. Nowhere in the world, nowhere in Africa, nowhere in Delta State and the lands where we come from can a woman give away her child in marriage, especially when the father is alive, especially when the father is willing and able. Worse still, when the father is in the same city. What malice would drive a woman in an attempt to rubbish her ex-husband, to lead his daughter to marriage? What manipulation would warrant concealing the date and time from a father? That is wild. Concealing the date and time from a father who has already given his blessing. Even if the daughter forgets, when the father and daughter are in the same city of London, is it not the place of the good wife? He actually put them in quotes, of the good wife. Again, they haven't been together, according to reports, since 2005. So just have that for context. Good people. Now, this time around, it is not in quotes. But he said good people, netizens, well-wishers, haters, and influencers. What options are left to this heartbroken father? How do you throw away the baby with the bath water? Do you cast away the ones you will forever love because a good wife, in quotes, has been blinded by wealth and fury to jeopardize the father's blessings on his daughter? Oh my shield, I feel his pain. I feel his pain. Wosa. They came to London, brought drinks. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find this picture actually. Yeah, I found it. Or they came to London, brought drinks. You see that picture? So the husband actually, his name is Aaron, brought drinks as caller to me, the father, as the pictures show. What kind of good wife, in quotes, does a thing like this simply to make a man look bad? That's sad. I feel for him, honestly. I don't know what to say. I feel for him. It was over 25 years ago that I came up with the unique idea of Inside Out with Agatha, a talk show with 6 informed and opposing points of view, represented by a person with oratorical skills, not male, not female. We had seen a talk show by Regina Askia, and Agatha wanted to be a host. I told her not to worry. I will come up with something. It will make you like Oprah Winfrey. And I did it ingeniously. I was the dedicated creator, throwing in flesh, blood, and sweat to create and deliver a concept that had never been done in Nigeria, save for a similar, perhaps less engaging 6 episodes of a program called Me to You, or something like that, by the late May Ellen Ezekiel, who was married to RMD. A program that could stand the test of time and put bread on the table of the young marriage. A program so versatile, it is still relevant today. Inside Out with Agatha was an instant hit. The genius of the angle, the production values, the directorial approach, the lighting, and the production design were so engaging that it was irresistible. I was at the height of my directorial rendezvous and had gathered a production crew of the best technical hands in what is now early Nollywood. TV soaps were the biggest things because we dared to stand out from the emerging crowd of Nollywood directors. I mean, we're talking about, for those of you that were in Lagos and you grew up in Nigeria, we're talking about, I think, Checkmate. I think another show was, some of you will remind me in the chat. Checkmate, I think, what's the name of this show? I forgot the name of the show. Anyway, some of the earlier TV soap operas in Nigeria. Okay. Now, Kingsley Ogoro, remember that name? Kingsley Ogoro, the person that was, by way of rumors, were accused of sleeping with her. Not sleeping with her. Was it sleeping with her? Yeah, sleeping with her. He apparently, according to rumors, he accused Kingsley Ogoro of messing with his wife. Let me say it like that. So I don't know to what extent. Kingsley Ogoro, my friend, brother, and nemesis, would lead a high. So remember, they said they were family friends from back in Delta. So that rumor doesn't sound like it was quite real. But again, you never know. Some of these men, sometimes one of the first things they do is accuse somebody of sleeping with their wife. When they can't get through to their wife, they will start throwing accusations. And yes, many people, somebody will sleep with their wife too. So let's be clear about that. Anyway, he continues, and I'm quoting, this is what he typed on social media. I co-opted Nollywood greats Zach Orji, Okek Bakassi, Sonny McDonald, Francis Onwoche, Emeka Osai, Zik Zulu Okafor, Francis Duro, Prince Jide Kosoko, and numerous friends who looked up to me. I asked for their support for the first episodes, and soon anybody wanted to be part of Inside Out. I staked every resource, friends, favors, loyalties, family, extended family, and links. I involved the creme de la creme of big productions and studios: Tunde Kelani, Wale Fanu, Tadeo Gidon, Tunde Oloyede, Pat Inebo, Uzo Okweche, Simi Okpeolua, Okpa Williams, the late Chico Ejiro, and numerous others to ensure no failure of the program. With the influence it wielded, the contacts and connections it gathered, the good wife, in quote, soon built an empire with no emperor. She employed maligning my name to acquire favors and contracts. I think there's some other type of also where he called her a billionaire. Inside Out is the source of all the good wife's wealth. My genius, my sweat, my vision. And for 20 years, I swallowed it. Aww. For 20 years, I swallowed it. My reputation diminished as the good wife, in quote, gathered momentum. So today, the good wife, using my brainchild, has become a billionaire. No credit to me. No compensation. No loyalty. Heartbroken. So sad, so sad. So sad. Anyway, buoyed by her success without recourse to the creator, The able Delta State-born good wife, in quote, has gathered a litany of resentment. She has registered a new company to own the program, discarding the company we set up. She has sued for and obtained a divorce. And 20 years on, she still carries bitterness and will go to extremes to tarnish my image. But understand this, good wife Agatha, everything you have ever owned and will ever own is because of Inside Out. It is my brainchild, my intellectual property. You have yet to bury me with your silence and indifference to the billions you have reaped while remaining obvious to your extravagant wealth. This so-called good wife dares defy tradition, challenge societal norms, and embrace taboos. She dares to confront Africa, attempting to manipulate my daughter and her husband to deceive the lovebirds and lead my daughter down the aisle to give Stephanie to her husband. How sad. Come on now. How could you? That's what he's saying. Like, how could you? How could you give Stephanie away to her husband without me? Is this an abomination? Me, I'm asking you now. The quote is over. Is this an abomination and a taboo? Walking a daughter down the aisle is a deeply symbolic act, especially in African culture. And Uncle Fred, it feels like Auntie Agatha has really crossed him. For him to jump, this is a very intelligent man. In fact, recently, he just completed a whole Scrum program, passed 98%. I'm talking about less than 2 years ago. So it's a guy that continued to educate himself. You know, I was watching an interview where he talked about he was taken after his father because his father would go back to school at the age of 50 and end up in the same class with his son, Zach Amata, studying theater arts at the time, right? So he was like, you could get educated at any time. So he's a very intelligent man. Well, how did he end up here? How did he end up here with ex-wife, who according to him is very bitter to the extent that even though they got blessings from him recently, they hid the date, time, and venue of the wedding away from him. Anyway, he feels crossed. Not only that, he feels like she's crossed the line, not just crossing the line, but crossing the line of cultural norms or cultural traditional rights, you know. Anyway, social media has been quite divided over this. So some people are taking sides with Uncle Fred, some people are taking sides with Auntie Agatha. Many people are, in fact, defending Auntie Agatha. They're pointing out that, where was he all this time? Where have you been? She's been a single mother. That means in a lot of ways, she's been playing the role of being a father. Maybe he's trying his best to be present, but there's only so much present you can do when you're not in the household. For the last, how long now? 2005? How long ago is 2005? 18 years? Yeah, something like that. How much growth has those children gone through to the point that they're now getting married? How old was Stephanie back in 2005? Co-parenting is hard though. Anyway, either way, this story is sparking a major conversation about co-parenting, about culture, about tradition, about respect when it comes to modern relationship. This is a major struggle. Anyway, what has Uncle Fred been up to? Let me show you this video. Let's see. Look at this. Uncle Fred is dancing.
I am a choosing.
Why is dancing? I'll make it bigger for you. Hold on. This is what he posted after the after posting what I just read to you. Not the years in your life, but the life in your years. Okay. I don't know what music is playing, so I'm not gonna keep that playing. But he's dancing. I'll play a little bit. Anyway, let's leave Uncle Fred alone for a second. Let's come back to this conversation. I want to know your thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts about this. What can we take away from this, right? First, co-parenting after divorce is tough, okay? There's no denying that. It is what it is. So, and especially even tougher if you are a coconut head and you don't know how to work on yourself. If you struggle with self-development, if you struggle with emotional intelligence, oh yeah. So that's one. There's no denying that co-parenting is especially tough. Most people will not engage the personal development they need. Okay, they will be trying to wing things from a common sense standpoint. Now, whether you're in a limelight, you're a celebrity like them or not, I'm talking about even Auntie Agatha. She owns an FM radio station. She's very popular. She owns what they call I think they say Rave TV, right? So she's a mogul out there, you know. So she's a powerful person. So regardless of all that, right? Effective communication and respect is key. Now, it's very easy for us to roll it off our tongues, but when you end up in a situation like this, in a very dicey situation like this, especially when it involves major life events of your children, like a child's wedding, it gets very interesting. That's number one, co-parenting. Secondly, tradition is a very powerful force in all of our lives. And the reality is that tradition is not stagnant. Times are changing, but to what extent? How far are things changing, right? The modern families are not necessarily practicing what our parents practiced or what people practiced in the 90s or all the way up to 60s. But it gets very difficult when you have two parents with two different ideologies. It gets very difficult when you're dealing with children that were raised outside of a two-parent household. Because the other question that keeps coming back is the relationship. Just because they took pictures together or they came to take blessings does not mean the relationship was okay. I hate to break it to you. There are people that will go back and forth with their relationship. I know people personally, I said this on Auntie B show. I know people personally that even the father was at the wedding, somebody else walked her down the aisle because she insisted that that's how she wanted, because she didn't have that relationship with the biological father. Anyway, that's one version. Another person, actually there was a massive blowout of arguments before the wedding and they were uninvited. How's that? And those things are very easy to do in these modern times because people have options and they have choices, and what we call tradition is a moving target too. But obviously I don't subscribe to completely discarding tradition because some people are moving faster than others. So if you want to be moving mad, you'll be tampering with your relationships too. So again, tradition is a massive driving force. Uncle Fred, he feels wronged. I feel his pain, you know. But it's a reminder that when relationships end, the ties that bind you through those children doesn't end. It lasts a lifetime. So if you're running away from yourself, your shadow follows you. If you're running away from learning how relationships work, your shadow will follow you. So either you are, whatever status of relationship you are in, you need to learn one or two things when you're confused. It doesn't matter if you're in talking stage, you're dating, you're in relationship, you're married, you are divorced, you are married again. It doesn't matter. If you are in a state of confusion, it's time to learn something new. I'll keep telling you anyway. So emotional intelligence plays a huge role when it's time to handle this kind of delicate situation. You know, most people get stuck in who is right, who is wrong when there are fallouts. So they get stuck in the cycle. They just get stuck in the cycle. Yeah. So I want to hear your thoughts. Have you been in this kind of situation before? What did you do? What do you think? How do you think Uncle Fred AMATA should move forward? Because he's asking the question, how do you do this? Should I throw out the baby with the bathwater? You know. So Prestige family, I want to drop the link. I want to drop the link right about now. I want to hear your thoughts about this. Let me see then I'm going to come to the chat and read some comments. Hit the like button. Let me make sure we're getting some likes on this video. Let's see. All right. Let me hear your thoughts. Shall we? Let's hear your thoughts. Let's have it. I see that you guys have blown up the chat. So I'm coming to the chat. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to read your thoughts. Leave your comment if you're watching this as a replay later on. I want to hear your thoughts around this. What would you do normally, as per normal? But yourself that has also engaged self-growth, personal growth, what would you do? Is there any difference? Do you think this is an abomination and it should not be tolerated ever? Or do you say, screw abomination? Who cares about abomination? Were you there? Were you there for your child? Were you there for your child? I've pinned the comment to the studio if you have an opinion about this, or you can use the chat or the comment area, whatever you prefer. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Let's see here. All right. Let me see. Hello. To what? How do you say that? Do I owe this? How do you say that? You know, my English is not strong. Chia, talk to me.
Good evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am well. So this is really
Let's have it.
This is really a tough one, you know.
Yeah.
To be honest, we're just working with little pieces of information. We don't really know what happened. We are trying to read in between the lines, but as human beings, we kind of have an idea, like how we think, how we function. With marriage or wedding, it's a really important, extremely important life in the adult who's getting married, and it's also important to them that their loved ones be present, like your mother or your father. If it's a situation where it was dicey, like something happened.
Something happened.
Something kakraka happened. Like I know.
Are you asking him to tell us the rest of the story?
Of course, he's not going to tell us the rest of the story. Do you want him to come out in these streets and start looking bad? What he wants to do is to drag his ex by the quickest. But in the whole thing that he was spieling, not in 1 second did you hear him say anything negative about himself. So, like, even the accusation, I don't know if it's true. The accusation with the woman messing with the man, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't even happen. It's just that, but he never even mentioned his atrocity. He was atrocious.
Yeah.
Because he was still married I'm sure Ibn Abba was not the only woman he was rolling with. He was just reckless, doing all kind of shenanigans.
It was a playboy. Was that part of the rumors back there that it was a playboy? Was he a playboy at all?
I don't know. Like,
you don't know?
I wouldn't be shocked if he was. Like,
Okay.
Because he had while he was still in the marriage. I mean, he's handsome. He's in the industry.
Right.
So he has easy access. And women, anytime you have fame, popularity, any form of power in any way, shape, or form, they'll be hanging around you like flies on doodoo. So I won't be shocked if he was reckless, especially just by the one that we know that was very public, Ibinabo, you know, that he was still married legally, but he didn't care. He was, I guess maybe
He
at
was
that
still
time,
married legally, yes. Mhm.
I guess at that time, you know, maybe inside of their marriage, you know, they were already having issues. They're going their separate ways or whatever. But something happened. Like, I don't understand how he's just putting all the blame on his daughter. I guess that was, I feel like the
Well, it's putting the
authorities
blame
were,
on not the daughter, on the good
sorry.
wife.
I meant to say, I don't know, you know why? Well, he's putting all the blame on this ex-wife because
Mhm.
I feel like she's like the low-hanging fruit, and this was just like his perfect opportunity to just rubbish her in public and just. And I'm sure after when he finished typing that and sent it, he felt good for 2 seconds.
Right.
So that was just like all this while that he's been keeping quiet, and because of his moves, people are probably looking at him as the bad one, and that's why he keep putting his wife name in quotes, the good wife, the good wife. Like, first of
Right.
all, what, like, you could tell this is something that he has bottled up for a while. For him to bring all these other things that have absolutely nothing to do with the issue at hand, and he just
Mhm.
bottled them all up together. So it's like a resentment that he's carried around, but
It's a
just
lot.
a way to just say, you know what, that woman you guys feel like is the good wife, she's not. She ain't. She ain't the good wife. You know, X, Y, and Z. This is what he did. I mean, I could completely see how when they were having issues, even though that talk show. I mean, when you're a married couple, and
Mhm.
I am, at that time, you guys are a united front. But when
Mm.
things go left, things go left. So if you guys were a united front and all these craziness was going on, and you know, both feel hurt one way or the other,
Mhm.
and they go their separate ways, of course his wife is gonna make a name for herself. Like, okay, peace. You know, let me pick up the pieces of my life. I don't want anything to do with you. And in as much as this was your baby that you created, I'm part of it. I'm a big part of it. So let me take my own piece and keep it pushing.
Mm.
You keep it pushing over there. So, you know, making it clear that that he was part of everything. Okay, clap for yourself. You did wonderful.
It's a lot of eyes.
She did
I,
awesome.
I I kept reading it. I did this. I did
Like,
this.
dude, you can't tell me that your wife did not do anything that helped you in your career to progress. Holding the home front. Okay. Afterwards, you did all of that. After
Mm.
everything, Bafukad, where are you now? Are you still almighty and powerful? You know, like, is it just a way to boost your ego to make you feel better? Well, she might be a millionaire or billionaire or whatever, but I'm behind it. Okay, awesome, wonderful. But the main issue at hand is, what is the relationship with your daughter? You cannot. A lot of times, what I've seen. Let me go away from here. My phone is ringing. You know, seen, like, you know, as someone who also, you know, is in a divorce situation, is it's
Mhm.
very easy for, you know, one another to bring each other down. Even when you
It's
know the
easy.
blame is right, like, you don't have a
Mm.
good relationship with your daughter. Of course, you're not gonna put it out there. Oh, I don't have a good relationship with her. 'Cause you're gonna look crappy. And then to prove that, oh, nothing is wrong with the relationship with your daughter. That's why he's showing the picture of the daughter and the future son-in-law to be coming to visit. For
Yeah.
all we know, there's a huge possibility that it was the mom who kept pushing her daughter to go do that. Please, I know you
Mm.
don't have the best relationship with your dad, but as a mother, I have to tell you, you know, the best thing to do as to honor your father and the tradition. Please, please, please go and introduce him to, you know, receive the blessing from your father.
Mhm.
And she went, they took pictures, but I will not be shocked if that's actually what happened. So you showing us the picture that they came does not mean that you have a good relationship with him.
Right. Right. It
Mom
does.
could
It
have,
doesn't tell us much.
exactly. Mom
Yeah.
could have also been like, hey, you know, why don't you let your father come? Nope. And something could have also happened at the last minute when they,
A good still picture is a good moment. That's about
okay,
it.
but there you go. At that moment,
Yeah.
days afterwards, they could have had an argument where she's probably like, I bet you're not gonna, you know, come. She probably didn't say anything to him about it, but she's probably in a funk with him, and she didn't want him to be there, and she didn't want him to walk her down. Or she probably knows that even if she shows up, I don't want him to walk me down. And he's probably gonna cause issues if in his presence my mom walked me down. So let's keep it simple. You know what? You don't come. I don't know, but I just really hope at the end of the day he's asking for a solution. The best solution is to stop dragging your ex-wife on social media, because as you're dragging her, we can read in between the lines and tell the kind of human being your nyash is in that marriage. We can see through you.
Yes,
We see you.
I'm trying to be better. You know, I just want to leave it to you guys to tell me what's going on.
We see your nyash. We see you. You're not a good human being.
Yeah.
We see you.
Oh, no.
I. The good wife in quotes. There's got to be a reason why.
All half of the write-up was about everything he did when he wanted to do what he did.
Can I give you candy?
You did what you did for your wife.
Your wife, who is a part of you, who's your family.
At the time.
Come and collect candy now. And at the end of the day, your wife did exceptionally well and just took it several notches up, which I wouldn't even be surprised if they were still together. She might not have been able to even be where she is now.
Yeah.
You know, but at the end of the day, solution, he needs to just bend down, be on it, just get off his high horse, forget all his ego. Well, he got his 2-3 minutes of satisfaction with some people dragging his wife and other people dragging him too, like I'm saying now. So let him just come down his high horse and just dig deeper. And if he has to, our men at that, of his age will probably not see things the way I'm seeing it, but go seek help. Yeah, right.
Jum is going AWire in the chat. She said, what's the purpose of this education when it's not wise? Hey, this is the okay.
Jum, you ain't right. Honestly, he's not wise at all. Like,
continue.
But anyway, you can tell there's a very immature aspect of him, about him. My thing is, if he's seeking for solution, he really needs to just be honest with himself, take ownership and responsibility for his participation in what really went down in marriage. Because when he go behind the closed doors and close that closet where nobody is there, he knows truly and truly. No, even if he kept telling himself lies until he started believing his lies, at the end of the day, he actually knows what went down. What started the breakdown of their marriage. The roles that he played in it. Yeah. And just leave all those things in the past and just figure out a way to have a relationship with his daughter. It will probably be difficult because he probably wasn't there. Like the lady said, I took the role of a single mom and I just poured everything into my children. Right. So instead of just out here crying in these Obasanjo internet streets, go and figure out a way. It's probably it's difficult.
The netizens. He just wanted to hear you netizens' thoughts. And then he danced after that. Did you like the dance?
He can dance. You could say he's still a young bobo. But enter house and go and make amends with your daughter. I think this was was this not the court marriage? If they're still planning to have another type of wedding, you better just have make it right with your daughter.
If you are wondering who is talking, is the person that typed this, by the way. And I quote, he used this opportunity to drag our kwekus and covered everything else that happened and included it in this case. I hear a lot of pain, but I feel like the daughter have a lot of responsibility in this. I feel like he didn't have a good relationship with his daughter. Yeah. Let's see, when you if I have a case right now that the daughter said, please don't give him my address. The father was in town, said to the mother, please don't give him my address. Yeah. And the mother is trying to say, please don't do that.
Mother is begging. That's the painful part. I'm behind the scenes begging because I know at the end of the day I'm gonna be dragged and I'm gonna be blamed, and it still happens. You're dealing with adult children, so you cannot force the daughter. If the daughter doesn't want him there, she doesn't want him there. Instead of you should face your daughter and be like, oh, you didn't even invite me to your wedding or whatever. Why are you dragging that woman?
So I hear that a lot between divorcees. They say, so whichever divorcee has the custody gets accused of manipulating the children.
Which is painful though, because a lot of times our women, to be honest with you,
Mhm.
our African women, Nigerian women, even when they are really mad at the kid's father, even
Right.
everything, they still want, yeah, call your father now. They still kind of
Yeah.
like want them to have that relationship. I
Yeah,
mean,
they do.
there are
A
situations
lot
where
of them do. Not all, but a lot of them
a
do.
lot majority do.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are situations whereby the woman is like, you can go to, you know, he double hockey sticks for all she cares. And I mean, there was a situation that I witnessed whereby, I mean, a friend basically is a friend of mine's brother's wife.
Mm-hmm.
She did not want anything to do with the father, and her family felt a certain type of way about it. Like, come on, like, because the husband's father's family is like close knit,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, oh my god, this is not good. Like, and then there was like a lot of stories. She's like, period. I don't want it. I don't want his blessings. I don't want him anywhere with my marriage. I don't want to take my husband to him. No. And the husband's family and the husband were eager, like, oh my god. But she was like, she stood by her ground, like, no. And there were like a lot of stuff that happened in it. So the family still went, to just go and meet the man on their own, like because they just couldn't in their heart, not in any way, shape, or form, contact that man. So they went without her, like the guy's mom and siblings went, went without
Sorry, hold on one second.
daughter-in-law.
Sparkleberry, come back. I just realized I forgot that she was in the studio, but please come back. I want to hear your thoughts on this. Go ahead, Chinye. I'll let you know what she
So
said.
basically, they went to the father, the girl's father. The girl's dad has his own side. Just you could tell he was really pained at like things that happened in their marriage. He felt like the things ended because of the things that his wife did. Like, and of course he really would love to be a part of it.
Right.
But he was saying that the wife fed their daughter with so many crazy, or his children, because there wasn't only one child, with so many crazy information that wasn't true, and all about exactly what happened and how the wife is moving. You even talked about some cheating situation. I don't know, but at the end of the day, the girl still stood her ground, like, no. So they they didn't want to force it, and till today, whatever she does, she don't involve her dad.
Right.
So it's sad. Yeah.
It's sad. It's sad. It's just it's sad when this happens. But a lot of people don't pay attention to the fact that it's sad, and they don't do anything up front to avoid this kind of situation.
It's very painful, man.
There is preventing this, but there's also handling it when it happens.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this two questions. How do you suggest that people prevent this kind of stuff in the future?
The way people prevent this in the future is in the marriage, like when the marriage is over, it's really, really difficult, sometimes to co-parent, but you guys just have to be, you just have to swallow your pride, and just when it comes to co-parenting the children, you guys have to be a united front, and you have to.
Sparkleberry, your audio is not connecting. Maybe you come back in again. Go ahead.
Sorry. You have to make effort to be in the life of your children. You have to create that relationship with your children. You have to, make it that even if it's visitations like every other weekend, you have to make sure you show up for them whenever they're doing things in school, and your ex-wife say, hey, our child has this such and such going. You have to show up, because children don't ever forget that. And our African men, newsflash, the children of this generation no send your papa if you're not
Jesus.
They no send your papa. If you're not there for them, they no send your papa.
Jesus is Lord.
So when they, they'll come and this one, if you're not there, and there's a lot of disappointments about when you were supposed to show up and you didn't show up, and it happened so many times, and they saw their mom suffer everything raising them, they will not send you.
They might just do everything behind you.
But was it in that TV show that somebody was saying that someone purposely gave their dad invitation for the wrong day of their wedding? I forgot what I saw. I don't know if it's an TV show.
That's what happened here too. They concealed the wedding date and time from him.
They gave him a different invitation. They gave everybody an invitation
one.
And gave him a different invitation for a different day. And he went there and was looking like crazy, looking around. Was like, oh, and then you know what? When he finally got back in touch with the son was like, "That's for every single time you promised to show up and you didn't show up." Can you imagine?
That's because life happens. That's why I said it's not about right and wrong, right? You might be actually putting some effort outside of things can happen. So everything you can do, continue to do it. But for me in particular, when you're present with the children, your conduct around them, with their mother counts a lot.
Oh my God.
So some people are actually physically present, but emotionally absent.
That's true. That is so true.
You show up because somebody told you don't want somebody to snatch your children, but you're there and your children are watching how you treat their mother.
Yes.
Or vice versa, because there are boys also starting to resent their mother.
That's true. That is so true.
Like
you really gotta be wise, man.
Hold on, Chiye. Hold on. Hang tight. Sparkleberry, talk to me. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
Hello, stranger.
First time calling in.
Oh, it's your first time. I know you've been in the backstage. Welcome.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's morning over here.
Hold on. It's our first time calling in. So welcome. It's morning. Where are you?
I'm in Melbourne, in Australia.
Oh yeah. So you're just waking up.
Yes.
You're ahead of us. Okay.
Yeah.
Help us greet tomorrow. We'll be there soon.
We are greeted tomorrow.
We'll be there soon.
Yeah. Yeah, this topic is actually very, very interesting because I don't know what is wrong with Uncle Fred. He was, he was the Denzel of those days. Yes. And he's probably in his 60s, early 60s.
He's 61 now. He's 61. Yeah.
61-year-old uncle. And you are going on Obasanjo internet to be asking people, after you've rubbished your ex-wife, to be asking people, what do you people think? It says a lot about a man like that. He has no accountability. He's talking about tradition. If he's a real traditional man, these matters there are things that they discuss inside the house.
Privately, yes.
Yes. If he's truly a traditional man, which he is not, he has not, presented himself as being traditional. He's presenting himself as someone who is bitter, someone who is sour. And he does not care if he brings down his so-called ex-good wife. It says a lot about him. In that story, the write-up he wrote, he was just I. I'm like, thank God Uncle Fred is not God.
I did this. It was my network. I called this Zakoji. Tadi Ogidon.
Yeah. And then, he's just explaining, and then he's putting people's names. Even late Chico Ejiro, I didn't even know he passed away. I'm like,
right.
Yeah. So it says a lot about him. He has no accountability. It is possible that he may have been in his mind. It's about perception. In his own mind, he was involved in his child's life, but in reality, he was not. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So
it's the good guy, good girl
yeah,
syndrome all over again.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it needs to go
yeah.
back, ko dale ko tusha as a traditional man. Needs to go
Mm-hmm.
back and sit down with the elders
Yes, I
and
agree.
have heart-to-heart discussions. That is
Yeah,
what traditional people do. They don't come on the internet and just, fixate themselves on a particular person and, blame them basically for all the wrong that has happened to them.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. We know for a fact that it's impossible for one person to take the blame for a
yeah,
family that falls apart. We
yeah.
just know
It
that for
takes
a
two to
fact.
tango.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So if you are going to be in that situation, just first of all bury yourself brain. Wait, okay, this is not a surprise.
Yeah.
Something went wrong. Okay, what can we
Yeah.
do? Right?
And his daughter
Like you
is not.
said,
She's not two.
there's a lot of this years. He's been watching her for years, all the successes, and he's been resenting that for a long time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah. He
that's
sounds
what
like
it
a
sounds
very
like,
bitter
at
man.
least.
So,
Yeah. But that's what happens when you don't work on yourself. You just be bitter. The day that thing will bust open like this, and like you guys said, Obasanjo netizens, they don't really care like that. You're asking them jump questions.
yeah. And you know what? The internet remembers
They do.
all these things that he has written.
Yeah.
Even if he goes to go and pull it down, there is a way you can always Google, and there is something that you would find. It might
Yeah.
not be the entire story, but maybe half of it will still be available somewhere on Obasanjo internet. And by then, and there's this saying that when we throw an egg on the ground, you know
Mm-hmm.
how it shatters. You can't put it back. Yes,
Yeah.
oro
Yeah.
leni,
Any
eni
Loro.
loro.
Any Loro. My wife says
Yes,
that a lot because I was the one with the mouth. So she used to say that a lot. Any Loro. I'm like, okay, Atigbo.
yes. So he has said it now, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and then he's going to go and do victory dance. I don't understand that part.
I know, right? I enjoy the dance.
Who does that?
I enjoy the dance because my dancing step is not that good. I really enjoyed it. At least you can dance, you can be happy. But
Yeah, for a few seconds.
the dance is Shalaye Pro Max.
Yes.
Just trying to say, oh, I'm happy, whatever you guys want to think. But hey, we are learning from this, gentlemen. This is not what you do.
Not at all.
Don't do this.
If we have problems with other people, talk to them privately about it.
Yeah.
You don't need to come on the internet and start rubbishing people. I mean, there are other people's lives that are, involved in your life. They're still the children. How will his daughter feel? How will his new son-in-law feel? How will the son-in-law's family feel?
Mm-hmm.
There's a ripple effect, and he did not obviously consider all of that.
Yeah, I think his legacy is intact because work go past all of that, right? I think his legacy is intact. The sad part about this is that his relationship that he's already suffering from is not intact. That's the sad part. See, when it comes to us, we'll forgive, we'll move on. See, it's Uncle Fred. He's a good-looking man. That man, the Denzel from the 90s, right? Everybody move on, right? But his personal relationship is the key in all of this.
Yeah.
He will miss out. He already missed out because that thing is painful. He already missed out on that one. But now they have to continue to do Shalaye around that. That's going to tamper with that relationship. And it's worse that he went to the internet to talk about it. So it won't affect his legacy or all the work that the AMATAs have done. But his personal relationship, he's going to have to, like, instead of coming to the internet to dance to us, to tell us that he's happy, we're fine. We're irrelevant. He needs to go back home and sort that out.
Yeah, that's just all I wanted to.
Thank you so much, Sparkleberry. Don't be a stranger. Eh?
I'll try.
All right, Tinye. I think there's a couple of things here. Did you have more things to say, Tinye, before I round up?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, what if his daughter moved mad like him and say, Dad, hold up a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you out here dragging Mom when you know the issue you have is with me? You haven't been there with me, and if the daughter come and start listing things, it's not gonna look good. So, I know he just did it. This is something he might have been looking for the perfect opportunity to do. And it really speaks volumes of who he is as a person.
It
Even
does.
the interview that the ex-wife did, she didn't rubbish him. She just said that they had issues.
She didn't mention him at all. At one point, she said something to the effect of, "It hit me when she was talking about being a single mother hit her when the babies left the house." So I was like, "It hit you?" I was like, "Wait, we're not talking about," but she wasn't talking about that, thankfully. So she didn't throw him under the bus. Nothing.
Not at all.
She's mentioned that it doesn't work. She said let me read this quote to you. This is what she said. "I still meet people every day who still tell me that they pray Fred and I will get back together. I know that everybody wishes you well, but I always say to people, you can't wish me better than I wish myself. It's not possible."
That was deep.
"On my wedding day, as I was dancing and rejoicing, I certainly had no plans to leave the marriage. I don't think there's anybody who on their wedding day is calculating the divorce, except the person is crazy.
Right.
But life happens. And it's very important to know, especially for women, when it is no longer adding to you and it starts subtracting from you." I say this because the first thing I heard a lot of people say was, "For the sake of your children." And let me say it clearly, an unhappy home cannot breed happy children. If anything, it's going to injure those children and their outlook and their approach to marriage. The best you can do is for both of you to try to remain friends, as difficult as it may be, which is what I tried to do. It didn't work. I'm not mean. It just didn't. I'm not going to beat myself for the rest of my life. I'm not the first. I'll not be the last. Did both of us try? She said we did. It just wasn't working. There's nowhere they will mention Fred AMATA that they won't mention AGATHA AMATA, because I had 2 children for him and I married him. Even when they don't need to, they will say Fred AMATA's ex-wife. Right. That's the introduction. It doesn't matter even if I remarry, they'll say the former wife of Fred AMATA. That's how they'll still do it. I'll be a fool to think I can wish that away. So why not just embrace it, acknowledge it, and work on it?
That is.
Does that mean that she wasn't showing him shege? No, it doesn't mean that. But
exactly.
But
you just said that she has sense.
Sense now. No, all of us have shown ourselves shege. Let's be honest, right?
I have.
Yeah. When you are having sex, you will show each other shege at some point when you discover that that in-love thing has flown away, right?
Right.
But when you find yourself in crisis, that was my next question. How do you handle when you find yourself in crisis?
Right.
Let me go to Chiye. Thank you so much for coming up. I want to round up, but I have Bumi. Chiye, we'll talk soon. All right, Bumi, talk to me.
Bumi. Sorry. I know you've been here for a bit. Hi.
How you doing?
Prestige fam. Hi, Mr. Ola. Hi, the family. How you doing?
Was this your crush in the 90s too?
No. I was young. You know what? A lot of unraveling was just like a lot of nostalgia was happening to me yesterday on Auntie Big Show, because I didn't know a lot of things. Like Chinye said, I haven't really read the whole paragraph and chapter that he wrote, but just been picking up on it here and there. I didn't even know that he was with Ibn Abo. He left his wife for Ibn Abo. I knew Ibn Abo because light skin is light skin, but I know the Amatas. I know that. I know inside out. I even went to look for the video clip on YouTube. Like, it just brought back so many memories. I probably was maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. I was young, but I knew I watched them on TV for some point in time. So it brought out really, like, these are the people. These are the foundation. With RMD, that show. What's the name of that show on TV?
Okay, so some of the names that thankfully somebody dropped the names earlier on. Let me pull them up.
Yeah.
They said Beyond the Clouds, Mirror in the Sun.
Thank you, Beyond the Clouds.
Yeah.
These are the pioneers to Super Story. So Super Story, I'm aware that Fuji House of Commotion, I watch and well, but all those ones I used to see, so all those inside, I used to see my mom or her friends watching it, right? So it's sad. It's sad that his name is brought up. Obviously, like you said, his legacy won't be ruined. The Amata's legacy won't be
Yeah,
ruined.
he'll be fine.
But
Yeah.
it's just now we're hearing. We're supposed to be celebrating our. These are pioneers. These are people that, if you go back in the film industry, I'm sure the foundation, the road work they did, it's on, it's profound. But that we're hearing these, I've not heard of Agatha and Amata. I don't even remember them. Like, I could have passed away and I would not even know.
Right,
Well, I'm
right.
just saying that we are hearing about our heroes, whether some people want to acknowledge these are people that founded TV, that entertainment.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
we are
yes,
hearing about them in
absolutely.
this type of poto, like you would say. Like, we didn't need to know about it. I think that he should have figured out. Obviously, he's hurt, and I know that he's hurt because he came to the internet. We have not. I personally, I am on the internet and I've not heard about anything about his marriage or whatever. So then he's coming with his.
So to me, it sounds like he's done a good job for a long time.
Yeah,
but then,
exactly.
just
Thank you.
broke.
That's my point. That we should have just kept it that way and tried to resolve it with. Obviously, is with the children, because and I'm like you just read Mrs. Agatha's message. We're not saying that she didn't show him pepper. When people are high in emotions, they might have been angry, might have done each other wrong, but is the solution is moving forward. How do you, especially when you have kids with somebody. If you are not in love with them, you still have to work on co-parenting, right? So moving forward, how do we handle this relationship? Because there's some type of relationship. It's not sexual. It's not,
Right.
But
It's the relationship now. They for the rest of the life of the kids. They are tied together for life.
Right. So they have to co-parent. They have to have a cordial relationship, a respectful one, a mutual one. So he should have respected his kids, because now for me, just looking at from an outsider looking at it now. He has brought up open wounds. Open wounds that because he has not healed. Because if he has healed, or if they have healed as a family, he wouldn't have started that right up with saying that, oh, I started inside that, I wrote this, I did this, she stole this. Then you now went to the landing, because the landing should have been the opening. We didn't need to know the opening, right? The poker was that he felt that and he kept saying a good wife. Referring to this woman, I have another problem too. Referring to this woman as a good wife, you divorced her or you cheated on her, whatever the case, you had a baby on her. She's not your wife. Ex-wife, appropriate. But he kept talking about it like they are still in a relationship. So that to me gives me some sense of manipulation. Like
absolutely. He
you
was being
understand?
controlling. He was trying to control the narrative and
Thank
control
you.
the public.
And then he was trying to talk about her in himself in a third party. I was just like, uncle, you know that you are smarter than this. And the woman you're dealing with is also smart.
Yeah.
So everybody is smart. Everybody is in the smartest of smartest.
So he just let me say this to you. He just finished 2 years ago. I saw a video
where
he was being celebrated. He passed Scrum.
Scrum,
yeah, 98%. And they were actually in that video talking about the mindset, the agile mindset, right?
Yeah.
Which involves emotional intelligence and basically the new. And I'm like,
he passed it 98%.
98%. Yeah.
I think I got it. I got 82%.
You guys, no, there's no, it's not just him doing an exam. He's practiced this in real life, managing all those people on those sets, being a director, and so it'll be easy for him to understand managing people. The problem is that we don't accord the same grace with a romantic partner. That's the problem with these things. A lot of us are good in our professional world, but when it comes to dealing with personal relationship, we struggle. That's what I just see there. So I know he's a very intelligent man, only if you can know that, hey, those same principles needs to be applied with the mother of your kids, with your particularly in crisis. It's not, you don't need that. You don't need to practice this when everything is good. It's when you are in crisis. It's when they are not listening to you. It's when you say, you have to bring cola or not Coke. It's when you are saying, until you bring cola nut, we will not marry you. And then he was probably doing some agidi like that. And his next thing, they said, you know what, shut him out. We're going to do the wedding. That's probably something that happened.
Also, I think another part of the problem that he fails to, aside from the fact that he's an intelligent man, is that I see some aspect of him not acknowledging and moving forward with the times that we are in. That's why he said it's an abomination.
Tradition. That's where the whole tradition thing
Who
comes from.
abomination by? Who abomination help? So as Mrs. Agatha walked the daughter, anything happened? Didn't the marriage? Isn't it legal? Didn't it go on successfully? See, we cannot cheat out. We cannot cheat ourselves and be thinking, oh, is that the way they say? We want to feel that we are smart for ourselves, and we think that we're not doing ourselves. Yes, it's intelligent. You also have to be logical and be forward thinking that, okay, these kids of these days are not, the society we are in is not, and then you're marrying, your daughter is marrying into a those white people that are in the front, also are still trying to catch up. They are forward thinkers, right? They don't care. So it's not,
Don't care.
a Nigerian man that will say, oh no, I don't want any issue. I want your father to work you. Please, let's just do. You know, some men can be like, oh, let's just save face. Nah, why am I? Oh, okay, that's what you want, babe. Oh, yeah, I'm with you. They don't care. So you have to acknowledge the fact that your children are also, we are living in times where everybody's feeling is valid. Everybody, including the child you birthed to this world.
Yep, that's what we care about, our feelings.
You have to move forward and say, okay, like you said, accountability. Okay, so where did I go? What can I do? If you don't want me in there, I can understand. I would love to be there, but how can I? See, we also think that this marriage is about us. It's not about you. You are involved because you are the parents.
It's about African parents too.
And maybe you are seen it now. They invite him.
I know, right?
Top.
They did your wedding outside of you.
He collect. You don't collect.
Wala. I be telling them, I say, Baba, calm down. Calm down. We're all heading to the same direction.
Thank
calm
you.
down first.
Thank you. It's like if I want to do an event now, like I want to do something, my mother is saying, I'll be like, okay, I've heard you. If I do what I want to do, now you they pay, or I don't even care. Like, it's not that I don't respect that. It's like, seriously, who's dropping the money? Who's planning? Who's everything? I'm the one doing it. Mom, see, you go though, and your choice.
Yeah, so, how many seats, Lenny? We have only 20 seats for you. Invitation. Okay. 20.
Mr. Zoom has even helped now. You can invite people.
I'll give you a link.
I'm a link.
We give you a link so that you can invite your friends to the Zoom.
They will not put delay. 10 seconds, 20 second delay.
Yeah.
We know how to do it. So yeah, it's just at the end of the day, we have to acknowledge, and we have to also take ourselves outside. You take yourself outside the situation and then try. I know it's hard. Even me that I'm speaking, I'm still learning, but have to try. We have to try to judge the matter as a third party. That okay, how can we come to a conclusion as a unit? How can we move forward as a unit? But it's sad that we're hearing. That's what I even wanted to say. It's sad that we're hearing about him.
About
and
your
his wife.
About your fave.
Yes. I also want to. I know this doesn't have anything to do with anything, but I also think that the Nigerian entertainment industry, script writers, guild, all those, they need to be doing meetings to be helping themselves. Because what's all this? This could have been
Jennifer Lopez is going through their own. No, don't judge us. Jennifer Lopez and Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt and Jolie. I don't know which one.
No, that one is different. Five how many? No, then the Lopez
people have their own problems too. Don't judge us. We're trying to figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Thank you,
Bumi. All right. Shout out to Uncle Fred. This one remains small. And to all the Ben Affleck, sorry, I said Angelina Jolie. Anyway, to all the Uncle Freds out there, listen, tradition, I'm with you. Tradition is deep gone. If somebody breaks it, we just para. But let's not cap. There's the other issues. It's what's making you call tradition now. You break the rules of tradition when it's convenient for you too. Like, for example, those times when you wear hoodie like mine, or you wear a t-shirt like mine, and you're not wearing buba and shoro. I was at one of the sideline events in United Nations General Assembly in New York City last week, and you saw a lot of our brothers. They're wearing natives. Some of us wear suits. I love the natives. I'm like, I should have worn natives to this place. After all, the weather is nice, right? But some of us, many of us that we try to claim traditional stuff, we break the rules when they are convenient. But then we try to pull them to the surface when after we done collect what they will do. Yeah, it's sad. I don't wish that on my enemy, that you're alive and they walk your daughter down the aisle. I don't wish that on your enemy. But here's the reality. Now let's come back to reality and round up. Relations. The relationship you have with the children, not just the children. Let's not deceive ourselves. The relationship you have with their mother or with the other parent is key. Okay? And I'm talking about overall, not the one moment you were able to capture in a picture, not the one day that they brought cola, none of that. Okay, I'm talking about overall. That overall also factors in that it doesn't mean that you were perfect. It means that people run into basketballs in relationships, or with children, with your father, with your parents. You will have, but that's why I say overall, the worst thing that can happen to your daughter is for you to be absent, even if your marriage just scatter from a long time. Like, she will not accept that from her mother, even if her mother is mad. Right? So it really comes down to the overall relationship. What was that like? Not the pictures. No, I'm not talking about the school fees you paid. No, I am not talking about all the network of superstars, RMD, Zach Orji, all these people that you hooked her up with the career of a lifetime. That show has been running, the longest running show in Nigeria. His brainchild, but also she was the host. You guys partnered together to pull that together. It's called Inside Out with AGATHA. Kudos. But you don't get to bring that up. Only Siregun. I learned that from my wife. Once me too, I collect one day like that some few years back. So I started counting all the wrongs that that she's done by not appreciating what I did. I did that. The more I did that, she just resented me, and I found out later that it's not like she wanted to resent me, but it was basically a way to be dismissive. I was being dismissive about what the actual issues at hand were. I was reminding her of all the things I've done. Now, to be fair to me and Uncle Fred, I was also put in a position where I felt like, you are saying I did all this thing wrong, but what about this? That was what led to the conversation. But by the time you start talking about all this thing you've done, now she's like, hey, you're going to tell me all this thing you've done. Listen, the easy solution is, first of all, realize that this is, for the rest of your life, a woman in your life. So don't if you did it for God. God will bless you. All the things you did it for God. Okay, at least you did it for your children, for the mother of your children. What happened more recently before this wedding? The rest of the story. If you're going to tell us some of the story, tell us the rest of the story. First of all, number one, what's the relationship overall with the children like? Second of all, what happened more recently? Okay. Third, what could you be accountable for? I'm not asking you to blame yourself. It's not your fault. But what could you be accountable for? Can we have that? Let's have it, right? What could you be accountable for? Even if it's as simple as, I could have spoken up a long time ago, at least some elders, maybe they can help me, understand what's going on. Because let me tell you something, all of us, if you're having sex with a person, when it gets caught up in the funk of that relationship, everybody, they collect. Everybody. So I don't know, Uncle Beno, well done, sir. How are you, sir? Let's see. Somebody said, what is Siregu in English? I don't know. Siregu is like you're counting all the things you've done for that person. That's what I got out of it. I still don't know. Like, you're just counting. I don't know how to say it, But basically, you are counting it to be manipulative to tell them to shut up. That stop telling me that I haven't done anything for you, right? So I get it, because again, I've been in that position where I felt the need to remind you of what I've done for you. Stop telling me that I didn't do shit for you. I've been in that position. But as a man, I'll tell you right now, as a man, or more so like as a person of a certain personality, right? You might have a tendency to try to remember, to remind your partner of what you've done for them, when in fact, that's not really what they're talking about. They are saying one thing, you're listening more to their words, but you're not paying attention to where they're coming from. It's a communication issue, okay? Roro say, I asked my parents and they couldn't give me a word either. Yeah, but they know what we're saying, but yeah, I don't know, but I'm Ondo. I think it's Lagos people that say that a lot too. I'll be bad people, I don't know. But it was my wife that kept saying it. And my wife would say some Yoruba stuff. I'm like, she was one that used to say Laura too. Anyway, I felt his pain. This is not about, this is not about outdated culture or lack thereof. This is not about taboo or all that kind of stuff. Bottom line is Uncle Fred just collect premium breakfast from his own children. And there's a lot of lessons here. It's not about the culture. Culture is very powerful. That's why I can understand his pain. You don't want to take that away from a man. If you are one of those people that will attempt to take this away from a man because you are hurt, Yusef, I promise you, you will see it coming. You go collect.
Sorry.
Please don't do that. Okay. I think he felt somebody snatching away a sense of his significance. Significance is one of human basic needs. He felt a sense of somebody snatching that away from him. That's why he's coming up with all these things. So you are a billionaire now, so you can't listen to us anymore. You good person, wife, Everybody thought you're a good wife, but he even mentioned, he talked about they tried to bring them together for years to know, like, what most people try to do when they try to bring you together is a reaction, resentment over and over, and it doesn't work. If you can't start on a clean slate, you will just hurt each other more, So, patience. The only thing you can do is patience, because it's already happened. And you know what happens when you cry over spilled milk, right? He's going to have whatever is going on with that relationship with that child and the mother of the child that created this scenario. If he cares to avoid this kind of stuff more in the future, he needs to engage repairing it. And what does that start with? Ask some questions, open-ended questions, active listening, That's all it takes. You don't have to fix their life. You don't have to be a husband for her, thank goodness, anymore, right? But being able to listen, right? And whatever they're saying, listen, try to hear where they're coming from, not just what they're saying. Because oftentimes when people get caught up in their emotions, they just run in their mouth and they will trigger you and you will tag on to what they said, and then it will become another issue. Try to understand where they're coming from so you don't end up siregun. So you don't come and say, I did this for you, I did that for you, because you thought they were saying you didn't do shit. But try to understand where they're coming from. Dig a little bit deeper before you offer a response. That's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. Today, do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up the notifications so you're notified when we go live. Join the conversation. If you're watching this as a replay, join the conversation in the comment area. I want to know what you think about this. Is this a taboo? Is this an abomination? Do you think he had a relationship with the children, or you think he didn't, right? Do you think this is a case of a woman just being bitter for no reason? Just a bitter woman who's just looking to hurt somebody else. What are your thoughts? Let me know what you think. All right. Roro say, ask Mark where to get there with the Water Pro Max. He's in pain, but he needs to resolve his issues, but not at the detriment of other people's reputation. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Uncle Beno say, it's a taboo. He plays the role. Continue the conversation in the comment area later on as we're rounding up the show right now. I appreciate you guys. Hope Hopefully, you've been enlightened, educated. I will see you guys on the next one. And peace.
Hey Prestige fam, show some love to the video. Hit, like, subscribe, and share. Are you in Europe, America, and struggling in your relationship? From argument to abuse and trust issues, we are here to help.
Lola and I founded Prestige Marriage Academy to transform your story. With 20 years of friendship, 17 years of marriage, experience with navigating the ups and downs of marriage, and personalized coaching, includes 24/7 support. Ignorance is expensive. WhatsApp us at +1 732 305 8577 to book a free discovery session today and take charge now.
Don't wing it.
Join us in creating the love life you deserve.